Hello and welcome to Did You Know Gaming Extra. Today, we're taking a look at games that were never released. There are tens of thousands of video games in the world today, and for every game on the shelf, there was a game that was canned or perhaps even never announced. Many of these failed games are lost to the annals of time, but occasionally some of them will resurface and have a chance to be documented. One example of a cancelled game that wasn't public knowledge until decades later is Sonic's Edusoft. The title was developed by Tiertex in 1991, who began making the game after seeing Sonic's success in the gaming space. Details on Sonic's Edusoft development are scarce, but Sega were aware of the game's existence and allowed Tiertex to develop it further. However, somewhere down the line, the title's production was halted and it never made it to the approval stage. As the name implies, Sonic's Edusoft is an educational game for the Sega Mastersystem and includes games relating to mathematics and literacy. The game also has 3 minigames, none of which hold any educational value. One interesting point is that because the Sega game developed so shortly after the release of Sonic 1, likely just before Sega had started developing Sonic 2 in November of 1991, Edusoft is probably the second Sonic game that was ever in development. There's a surprising amount of cancelled games attached to high-profile or cult franchises. The next scrapped game we're talking about belongs to the much-loved Spyro series and is yet another educational game. Spyro Ever After was a game briefly in development by Knowledge Adventure in the early 2000s and would have featured Spyro in a fairy tale setting interacting with characters from popular fables. It's not currently known why Spyro Ever After was scrapped. However, some fans of the series believe that Spyro's license holders didn't want the franchise marketed as something just for young children, and wanted to continue marketing Spyro to a slightly older audience. This would make sense considering the direction the series took with the Legend of Spyro trilogy. Another character that was popularized during the PlayStation's lifespan is Crash Bandicoot. The Crash franchise has a surprising amount of cancelled games, but one of the more interesting scrapped Crash projects is the game Crash Landed. Crash Landed appears to have been a reboot of the series, and was developed by Radical Entertainment for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and Nintendo Wii, with Renegade Kid possibly handling the Nintendo DS version. The game's plot centered around Crash trying to save primitive bandicoots, named Bandicoots in the concept art from Neo Cortex, and Dingo Dial would have served as a secondary antagonist for the game. The title was cancelled after 2 years of development, following Activision acquiring the rights to all of Sierra and its assets. Activision decided to lay off the entire Radical Entertainment studio behind Crash Landed, and didn't seem interested in continuing development with another studio either. And now for today's random piece of trivia. Today we're talking about the Midway arcade rail shooter CarnEvil. Although the title was well known for its graphic content and, for the time, lifelike gore, one of the game's secrets is even more morbid. Inside CarnEvil's files is an image of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. In the image, Dahmer is holding a paper bag containing the head of then CEO of Midway Games, Neil Nicastro. The unused image appears several times in various sizes within the game, and was most likely used to fill empty spaces in the game's data. If you enjoyed this video, you should check out the other videos on screen for more weird and wonderful trivia. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel and maybe give the video a like, it really helps us out.